Hello, everybody, and good afternoon. Welcome to the stream scene. I am your host, Lowco, joined by my lovely co-host, TheHunterWild.
Oh,
Hunter?
well, thank you, Lowco.
How you doing?
Well enough. This is my first stream in 3 days. I'm probably gonna blow out my voice like halfway through. I did.
What the heck, man? I took a day off yesterday to make sure my voice was okay for this stream. This is ridiculous.
Well, yeah, you have a lot of passion and care for your endeavors. You really want to put on the best possible show. I've been wearing this for like 5 days. Good morning.
Okay.
I told you. Good morning. Today, we are talking about a subject that is incredibly close to my heart and my wallet. It's monetization. And there's a lot to talk about, a lot to cover on that subject, generally and specifically, where it's a big open field and people have a variety of methods and approaches and even philosophies for how to generate revenue for their streams, why it's important, what they need to spend money on, and therefore how much they need to bring in, and all the ways that we try and make it exciting and interesting. And then just to reiterate that one, why it really matters, why it matters what you choose for that. And we have two incredible guests today. We've got MissKylie's and Goobers 515. How are you guys doing?
Good.
Good,
man.
And what are you up to? What generally? Who are you? What do you do? Goobers, I will start with you.
All right. What do? I yell an obscene amount. That's well, I yell so much that well, actually for the first time in many months, I lost my voice yesterday.
Wow.
So that was actually really pertinent.
It did happen. I don't lose my voice. I don't know what it is. I was blessed with the ability to have just beat the crap out of my vocal cords.
Do you do vocal warm-ups like before you stream?
Sometimes.
His vocal warm-up is yesterday's stream.
Yeah. Yep.
It's always the day before.
Yep, exactly. Just got to keep it going. If I don't keep it going, I'll just die from the cumulative hangover. To quote Archer.
I'm glad you found it again.
Yeah. Well, it was like I have a show that I'm guesting on tomorrow. I better have it for tomorrow, so I'm gonna chill. But what I'm up to, I am kind of in between games right now. I did Fractured Lands stream a couple days ago, which was hysterical. That game is like it's early access, like 2 months out. It's pretty rough still, but it's solid, and it's like the bugs aren't the game-breaking bugs that are annoying. They're the funny ones.
It's like the Mad Max Battle Royale, right?
Mad Max Battle Royale. Yep. We got the communities involved and everything like that. At some point, we started a demolition derby in the middle of it, in the middle of the match. It was beautiful. I sacrificed myself for Valhalla and screamed "Witness me" as somebody ran me over with a car. It was good times. It's good times, man. But yeah, other than that, I'm gonna be playing some Dying Light Bad Blood.
Cool.
Tonight for the first time on stream. I did get to try it at PAX West, and it is
I want to try that out.
Choice. It's good stuff, man. It's good stuff. So, but yeah, that's what I'm up to. Variety caster, I do all sorts of stuff. I actually just got a whole shipment of spray paint in. So I'm gonna be hopefully getting back to the creative streams very soon. All of these paintings you see in the background here those are ones that I've done. And awesome. Yeah, so gaming, streaming, painting, a lot of IRL, just talking and chatting and bullshitting that ends in ridiculousness. That's kind of what I do. So
nice. What about you, MissKyliee? How you doing? What you up to? What do you do in the world here?
Well, let's see. I have 2 separate worlds. I have both school, and then I also have streaming, of course, variety streaming. lately I've been playing Maple Story 2. It's an MMO, but it's not technically out yet.
Oh.
I played Maple Story as a kid.
Mhm.
I'm about that.
I know, right? I played Maple Story, the first one, like when it first came into beta in North America. So it's been a while, and I was also super young then. So like being able to play like the beta now, it's crazy. It's just like it was, I don't know, eye-opening. So I was like, oh, I feel so nostalgia, even though like I have so much nostalgia about it, but like the game's not even out yet. I don't know, it's weird. But
That
they
seems to be how
have
things go.
yeah, but they have like a BR mode out called Mush King Royale. So it's like right. I know when
Wait,
I first heard
That's
what?
surprising.
it is. It's its own little BR. Like you basically one person wins, and it's like you can like put like little blocks down, and you can have different skills. Everybody's on fair ground. Nothing's aiming, kind of. So
That
it's,
sounds like
all
the
about
most wholesome BR I've ever heard of.
yeah,
Like,
it's actually
You can't
really
hurt
sweet.
anyone. You have to apologize afterwards.
Actually, I was just playing like the solo, and nobody was killing each other. They're all just like, oh, just
That
walk
definitely
around
sounds like
each
my speed. I like that.
Besides that, like I just recently beat Shadow of the Tomb Raider. I
Nice, yeah.
like played a little bit of Spider-Man. Haven't beat the story yet to Spider-Man.
Oof.
But I want to go back and beat it. I'm gonna play it more of that tomorrow. So
Mhm.
yeah, but besides all that fun stuff, let's see. Something I'm looking forward to is October 1st is the launch of Maple Story 2, like the actual game.
The
What-
proper full
yeah,
release.
the full thing of the game if you have a founder's pack, and I plan to get all hyped with that. I have like an event coming up to celebrate the launch and stuff like that. I'm excited. I'm so excited.
Nice.
Yeah. And then going back to the school thing, I'm currently majoring in marketing, and I'm going to be graduating in the spring.
ooh, congratulations.
Thank you.
That's awesome. Freedom.
Freedom. I know, right?
So-
full time.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome. So we're going to talk to you guys a little bit about monetization today. We'll go over, the types of ways to monetize your stream. What are some good choices? Because it's not like we're going to list all these ways to monetize, but it's not every option is for everyone. And like, it's
Mhm.
definitely not something where you should be doing everything possible, because that's like a lot going on. And some things just make more sense. Like as a new streamer, you're probably not going to want a merch store right off the bat. Like it's not going to really make any sense for your stream. I think the first thing we should talk about, probably, unless Hunter, you have a better idea, is the monetization options that are available directly integrated with your streaming platform, like Twitch.
All the stuff that's just built right in.
Yeah, and Twitch is really, really good at monetization.
Yeah.
In my opinion, they are the best platform for monetization. And I
there's a
think
big
we all
scale to
stream
that
on
too,
Twitch, right?
'Cause
Yeah,
we've got everything from affiliate to full-time. Full-time. You can be a full-time affiliate. You can be a full-time pre-affiliate. That's what I was. But everything from affiliate, which is relatively easy to hit, and then you can maintain, through that all the way up through partnership. And of course, partnership, you have effectively the same structure, just a couple more options and things that are available. And then that is something that sticks with you further.
yeah. So you have your sub button. Most platforms have a sub button. You have, with Twitch, you have bits, which is, people buy them. It's just like a currency basically that translates to money for the streamer. And I guess with Twitch you have different sub tiers. You also have
Mhm.
the ability. Now this feature actually Mixer has as well, which is the ability to buy games directly through your platform with the streamer getting a kickback. But unfortunately, like the Twitch has not really done much with that.
I've done, and like we play. All of us are variety. I'm going to assume so. Like
Yeah.
I haven't seen any kind of like significance about or getting anything a lot from any of that. Maybe like when it first came out, it was like a lot bigger, but now it's kind of just like dwindled down.
I think it
Yeah,
has a lot to do with the they're fighting a different battle when it comes to getting that going. I don't know how that is on other platforms, but with Twitch, it's like they're basically fighting to now they're competing with Steam, right? And people don't like change as much, and it's not something that they shouldn't do necessarily. It's just they are fighting an uphill battle. Whereas
Yeah.
subscribers and bits and all that stuff, like that's how you do it here, and that's the only way you can support a Twitch streamer like on Twitch. You know what I mean? Like it's not they're not fighting an uphill battle against anybody else in that sense. Whereas people can get their games from elsewhere, and it's a different way of doing it.
Yeah,
Right?
for
I don't think
sure.
that it's going to be something that they shouldn't do, but I think it's something that it's a slow trudge rather than this will make people buy it instantly.
Yeah.
Amazon is definitely still figuring out how to get it into games. Like
Yeah.
it's still very much a learning thing. I think once they figure out, it's going to be extremely powerful. But yeah, they still haven't gotten the handle on it. So with Twitch, you have affiliates and you have partners. Monetarily, what is the difference between those?
Nothing. I mean,
Well,
the difference between partners and affiliates?
Yeah.
Just in the base level of what's available, I think there's very little that's different. Some things like the about bounty, the bounty board.
Oh, that's true.
thing.
That's another thing that Twitch has.
That's one I think that's not fully rolled out, so it's not available to all partners. But I believe that's something that is currently only available to partners and will be only available to partners. I think that's not something that's going to be open to affiliates. And there are some things like that I would expect to show up as effectively as products in the future. But currently, I think there's not a huge difference at the base level. One thing I don't know about when it comes to affiliates is ad revenue. This is one of the passive options that you have, and it's one of the most passive ones. Certainly, as a partner, does any of you guys know if affiliates get ad revenue and or have control over playing ads at will?
Not right now, but I think that's something that's going to happen.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they're going to be able to run ads eventually.
Yeah. So that's one that's kind of interesting. It's one I've been thinking about myself for quite a while. Do you guys run ads intentionally on your channel at any time?
I used to, but I don't anymore because it ended up just being something that just took away from what I wanted to achieve. And then like what I would do is, since, we can't control the ads that are played at the beginning. So
yeah.
So what I would do is I would play them at the very end when I was going to be, ending my stream. And then I kind of just realized after a while, like, yeah, that was nice. But I think I would have rather used that time because people would obviously leave after a little while. And I would rather have those people to go raid a friend or to just make more friends in the community and stuff rather than the ads. Because the ads was like, it wasn't a lot at all. It wasn't worth it, in my opinion.
Play them at the end.
At the end, the very
to
very
not
end.
distract from content that you were creating. Now, how long are your streams? Does that play a role? Do you think?
Well, let's see. I usually stream around like 5 to 6 hours. So, I mean, it could for breaks and stuff, but I don't know. I guess I never really felt the need to take advantage of ads like during my stream. At the end, I was okay with it, but I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like and especially for affiliates, the ad revenue is not going to be worth like putting people off your stream.
Right.
Especially with the changes to Twitch Prime, where Twitch Prime used to be able to not get ads on anybody's page, but that's going away.
Yeah.
So that makes running ads worse for streamers because like that's more people that are just going to get pissed off and leave. People hate ads. Like people don't want to watch ads. That's more people that are going to download like ad block or something, because they don't want to see that. So as an affiliate, like when that becomes a thing where you can run ads, it's probably worth it 0% of the time. You're going to make pennies.
Not at all. Yeah.
If anything.
Yep.
That's the thing that occurs to me too, is when I'm not intentionally rolling any ads and it's just the passive, pre-roll stuff, somebody shows up into the chat and it just it's marginal. at best. Like I can get a couple of hamburgers, right? It's like, yeah. So like what's it? But since I've started doing longer streams, I've been doing longer streams for quite a while. But I realized doing 12, 10 and 12 hour streams, I would take several breaks. I'd try and stretch my legs and go to the bathroom and also get some water and a snack. And there's a time in there where, as much as I want to, I still haven't done this thing, which is constructing my own ads for my channel, for upcoming events and stuff that I want to run in between during a break. In the absence of having that, it's just sit around time. There's no content being produced by me visually. That's just gone. With the Elgato Stream Deck, I hit a button and I can play a 30-second, 60-second, 90-second ad, depending on how long I think I'm going to be gone. And it doesn't take away from anything. I might lose a couple of people who are like, I don't want to watch an ad, but they're not super committed to the stream in the first place. That's not, right. They do whatever they want. So it doesn't feel like a huge loss or burden to do it in that scenario. I would think if you're doing somewhere between 3 and 5 hours, I could totally see not wanting to, like, we might not even take a break in that time, depending on who you are.
Yeah, I do the same thing that MissKyliee does, or that she used to, where I run a full block of 3-minute ads during my outro. So all that's playing is a video to say bye that I'm leaving, and then I'll run ads, and most people don't see them anyways because they're a subscriber. And that actually has that adds up every month. Like that's like a couple of $60 games that I can buy from just like doing something that everyone's leaving anyway. So I like definitely, like, obviously if you have more viewers, like that stuff's gonna be worth it.
Yeah.
But in general, you probably just don't want to run ads like that take away from the content, especially with the Twitch Prime changes.
99% of people, anybody who's like our size and or smaller. Like our size is only when we start to consider ads as valuable. Need a large viewer base to make
now
ads.
What size are we talking about?
So I would say the size to make them really the actual like monetary value kick hard is I would guess to be between 500 and 1,000 viewers concurrent average, and you have to run a decent amount of ads. Like if you're actually calculating this into your like I should make this much money
budgeted in
ads, right?
Yeah.
Rather than just like whatever I get is whatever I get, like couple like $100 or something like that, like a month is like, yeah, that's something, but
it's not nothing, but it's not something that you're counting on. Like that's not your
small enough money. That you have to consider, is this doing more damage to my viewer base than the monetary gain? And it's just I'm a guy who's just like, listen, like do you need to make, like what are you making with the ads? Okay, if you're making $100 with the ads, okay,
so just a cost benefit.
Yeah, right. And if you want to make that much money a month more, push yourself to do something, which I'll get into later when we talk about it, which is specifically designed for your community to get excited about something, to just straight up just pay for that themselves so they don't have to watch an ad. You don't you're not sitting there being like, you're paying so that you don't get ads. Like you're not telling them that, but you're giving them specific content and community identifiers to make them feel like they're a part of something so that they can enjoy that, and you cover your potential losses of the ad revenue,
Yeah.
But smaller streamers, like sub 100, like it's not that much.
Yeah,
it's not.
I'm honestly like surprised that Twitch is even gonna let affiliates run ads because of it's not gonna be valuable. It's gonna hurt if they choose to do that. I think it's ultimately gonna hurt their stream, and it seems like very like low quality like metrics for the ads that are running, right? Like a lot of this, it's like we're running ads for like 2 or 3 viewers, maybe some of them aren't even actually like watching, like they have the ad block or something. So I don't know. It seems like it's kind of a bizarre thing. So I would say, while ads seem like a very appealing thing, it's like, oh, I could just press a button and get money. So like that's great.
Like streaming.
It's definitely something that I don't be fooled by. But on the other hand, you have subscribing, and with Twitch you have bits. How has your experience been with subscribing versus bits? Like, what is are either of those like your main source of income? Like how has bits like changed? Because you have bits and you have tipping, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really curious to see your guys' experience with the implementation of bits and how tipping culture has changed. If you think so.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I hated bits when it first came out.
Really?
Yeah,
I laughed
thought-
at bits.
I
So
I
stupid.
I didn't like because like in my experience I never had a problem with tips, and bits were created to kind of get past the whole if somebody was to charge back. And PayPal has evolved, at least in my opinion. PayPal has evolved to where they know streamers and they know what's going on now, so that the streamer will win. Like every chargeback that I had, I won. And I never
me
had a
too.
problem with it. I know some people have had problems and they probably get them more. And, that's why bits like made more sense to them. But I just don't see like, I'm just gonna be that type of person. I think that streamers lose money and monetization for their streams because of bits. Yeah, it's convenient. And yeah, sometimes Twitch does, give like little sales and deals and stuff like that. But in the end, PayPal only takes a small percentage where Twitch takes like 30%. So I'm not going to argue it because I have to use bits. So you might as well, if you can't do
You mean
anything
in terms
about
of what the viewers spending, not in terms of a
Yeah.
cut of what you would be getting?
No. I'm talking about viewer
Right.
spending. Yes. Yeah.
I mean,
What
you
is
don't
the- what is
technically
the
have to
PayPal
use
tip
bits.
cut?
Technically, you don't, but you would be losing
You'd
a
be
lot
losing
if
money.
you didn't.
Yeah.
I think
So,
I think on PayPal it's like 33% on the first dollar and then 2% beyond that up to a certain point.
It's
Then
some-
that changes again.
I honestly don't know the
Okay.
percentage, but it's certainly smaller.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm somewhere in the middle there. I don't mind bits. I think that it's another way where we can again, you're gonna hear me say this idea 1,000 times today. Monetization is not a way for you to make money. Monetization is about how you can build custom content for your community, specifically designed for the identity that you've built for your community. That's what monetization is at its core. If you follow that, if you do that,
I'm
you
right in
are-
between the middle.
Right. So basically, here's the deal. Here's my perspective on bits is basically that bits is a new way, another way for you to do different content, to do, flavor it up and change it a little bit. Have I like axed PayPal? Have I changed the tipping thing? No, I have both of them because why wouldn't you? You know, they offer different things, right? The bits system has the messaging, but it doesn't have the same effects to it. Why that is, I don't know why, where it's like bits and the messaging system doesn't feel like it's as like poignant as the PayPal, messaging system is. But
what do you mean when you say PayPal messaging system?
So, it's customary that like when you get a tip, you read out the message.
Yeah, like going through like Streamlabs or Stream Elements or Muxy.
Yep, it's customary. It's an etiquette thing here. Bits don't, to me, maybe it's just me, but to me, they don't necessarily have that etiquette built into them. Unless it's like a crazy donation that's got.
Yeah, because it doesn't feel like at least when you're putting it in there, you're just typing in chat. And people say whatever they want in chat.
Yeah.
When you're constructing a separate message, you're like writing a thank you card, right? It's like it feels a little different.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the social element.
I think that very much is a social element. I don't know that it's something that it's like there is this reason why. It just hasn't evolved to that point, right? Where tips have. But my other argument is, and I'm sure it's not the most popular thing, but Twitch, if my money, if the viewers' money are getting split between me and the platform I'm streaming on, I'm okay taking a bigger cut, personally, because if Twitch isn't here, I've been streaming on this platform. That's kind of a big deal. It's a little bit of.
That's certainly true.
I'm okay with giving money to Twitch. The platform we were talking about ads. Like Twitch doesn't make money on ads. Like they kind of do, but for the size that they are compared to the money they make on ads.
Well, they hopefully will be this coming year. That seems to be the intent.
With the Twitch Prime changes, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and they're I think with the intention of rolling it out for affiliates on an individual basis, it's not going to matter much for affiliates. But when you look at the number of affiliates and being able to throw ads out there, that's going to that immediately boosts numbers for Amazon to then pitch the pricing to marketers, right?
Yeah. In regards to like bits, like when I saw the idea, I just laughed because I was like, this is like so dumb. People are paying money for something just to give the streamer money when they can just directly do that. But it's interesting because it's actually like, I actually like bits and I buy bits and I give other streamers bits. It's fun. Like they've made it really, really fun. You know, with the emotes, you get badges, there's cheer motes. Like
you get badges,
and that plays into the same thing that you were talking about before, which is like, what does Twitch offer on just on the side of Twitch itself to incentivize stuff? And the badges is one of them. So with subbing, with cheering,
there's like limited emotes that you can unlock.
Yeah, and having animated emotes formally and officially on the platform, like and you have that tied into monetization, that's also really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
they definitely
they've done such a good job.
They definitely, they use bits and they market it really well to get more people to definitely and incentivize them to get bits on the channel. Like even with just like getting bits for free, like watching ads and stuff.
Yeah, that's also true.
People do that all the time. That stuff adds up.
Oh yeah, they just did the Jack Ryan thing where you watch,
they can take surveys and like get 100 bits from.
I have a few people with who have paid $0 for cheer. For bits and have over $100 badges in my chat. Several people who've never dropped a dime.
Yep.
It's that and that's money that came into the stream. That's money that I got to use for the business.
Yeah. We actually have like an article about that I'll link in chat for
nice.
What? But yeah, watching ads. Then they did the Jack Ryan thing where it's like you watched one episode for 400 bits. Like that is ridiculous.
I totally missed that. That's awesome.
I did. It was really quick.
A lot of people from my chat told me like, oh, just go and watch this video and like you get 400. And I'm like, okay. Yeah. They just had it up and then they left. And I was like,
that's kind of the interesting thing about having an ecosystem umbrella, right? Is Amazon, Twitch, us gets to have these ways that it all kind of intermingles. Like Amazon's getting something out of that, Twitch's getting something out of that, we're getting something out of that, and viewers get that participation and content. Like it seems to be, and it's probably not a perfect balance, and it probably never will be. But those opportunities exist where ideally everybody benefits, and it seems to work decently.
Yeah, it's interesting because with bits now, like I don't get tips hardly ever anymore. I get bits all the time, like throughout the day, but like tips have just gone way down, but bits have gone way up. Like it's completely replaced the system in my stream at least.
I have not seen that. I have not seen that, and I think it's very dependent on the stream.
Yes.
I have not seen bits have been a thing in my channel, but it's an ebb and flow of like occasionally people come in and then they're like chat gets focused on bits and it's all about bits because that's just what my community just
that's what they're doing right there. Everybody's going in and buying them. Everybody's
doing bits. Okay, great. And then the next day, tips are different, right? I remember when the big thing when Muxie's Cup was terribly optimized before they optimized it. I had a community member. Yep, I had a community member who would literally sync the stream by just spamming as many 1 cent bits as possible in there in chat. Now, given my streams are hype, and that's what we do in my channel.
And there's comedy to it, and you're playing with that at the same time.
I'm going nuts. I'm on the damn floor and stuff. Like it's all over the place. And in the meantime, I'm getting like 2 FPS. I'm like freaking out and streaming and stuff, and my CPU's going through the roof. And it would be a challenge to break the cup, right? Break the stream. You
actually just made kind of 2 really good points that I want to touch on. The first one is with monetization, it's very much like something where if people see it, you're going to get more of it, right? Like if
Yep.
no one's cheering or no one's tipping, like it's dead, right?
Nobody
Until,
notices
like,
that it's missing.
right. Like it just, but then once someone tips or someone gives bits,
Everybody
then
can
it's
see
like
that.
it's very easily becomes like a chain reaction or like a culture, right? Like
Absolutely.
it's like something people need to see to actually do. So keep that in mind. Like you'll see, like, you know, as a streamer, a full-time streamer, you'll have these ebbs and flows where you just don't get anything for a while, and then you'll have like these weeks where you have like way over the top, you know, in terms of revenue. So there's a lot of ebbs and flows. And the second point that I want to make, or that Goobers actually made, was there's a lot, especially with bits, there's ways to make monetizing your stream fun and integrate it
Yes.
into the channel. Where you're not just sitting there like asking for money, right?
If you're not doing that, you're doing it wrong. Ah!
So what are some tools that you guys like to use to help like make monetization fun?
I've got a mouthful, so I'll let these guys go first.
Y'all, no, you go first. I want to hear what you're saying.
Well, I've got something to say.
Go for it, Hunter.
I think I imagine that there are some similar qualities here with myself and Goobers, at least in terms of the philosophy. And I think we all probably agree on it in general principle that incentivizing people parting with their money. And I always think about myself first in this regard as a viewer. What gets me to want to do it? What gets me to feel committed to the stream and to enjoy giving my money, where I'm actually going to, like, that's, you know, the great thing about money is not having it, it's using it and getting, you know, you have this whole interaction there, whether it's buying a piece of art or buying food that delicious, or handing it over to somebody and seeing them light up, or seeing them like an idiot eat really hot stuff, or any of the other things that you can do to incentivize it. For me, I've got a couple of tools, like right out of the bat. The primary one, and this is a big reason why tipping is easily the biggest point of revenue for the stream, is that I have a menu. Now, of course, legally, technically, and formally, it is optional for me to do anything on the menu. And that is abundantly clear. And you, as anybody out there listening, needs to make sure that that is clear in text all over the place, especially when it comes to chargebacks and stuff. That's a big one. You're not people aren't buying anything. It's not a transaction where you're giving something in return.
Twitch TOS
Yep.
with bits to allocate
with the cheer, yeah,
the bits to something directly. Like,
yeah,
you get this.
So you can try and create an atmosphere of sort of like of entertainment reaction. People are doing something and you're doing something in return, as opposed to the standard idea of streaming is you're just sitting back playing video games and money just flows in. That is, for the vast majority of people, that's not a reality at all. It ought to be most of the time a really engaging activity. Provide something for people to get joy when money is handed out. As a base principle, that's easy to do all the way top to bottom, whether it's for subs, cheer, for tipping, obviously, and you can structure it in a bunch of different ways. One of the things I've been working on with my menu, so generally it's like we have an overall goal for the day just based on the menu itself. I'm not like daddy needs a new 2080 Ti or something. You know, it's like we're just going to set it at 150 because that's when I start putting on a onesie. Okay, everybody can participate. You drop $1, you drop $1,000, doesn't matter. It's going toward that overall goal. It builds up. You hit a certain point. I'm eating a hot thing. Builds up more. It hits another certain point. I'm putting on a onesie. Builds up more. I have to do something stupid. It's this whole cumulative building thing. You can do that over a week. You can do that over a month. Like, oh man, we're so close to that goal. Right there. That gets me to part with my money. Oh, you're so close to your goal. You're going to put pie on your face and stream with that for the rest of the stream. I'm down. Here's a hot 50. Boom, there it is. You know, that kind of stuff, having that building entertainment and community orientation toward it. Everybody feels committed to, everybody wants to see it happen. People who have the money and are committed to the stream want to part with it in order to make it happen. It's co-creating experiences together.
Yeah.
Right. I like that a lot. And I think that's like a really good way to monetize that I don't think people think about, where you see people that have goals, right? They're like, oh, trip to TwitchCon, or, you know, new microphone or something like that. And that's cool and all, but like, what if you instead just focused on giving something to the community And with that revenue, you make that purchase, right? It doesn't have to
Exactly.
be like,
Yes.
guys,
Yes.
give me money so I can have a nice headset. It's, hey guys, give me money and I will do this silly thing. And with that money, I can also buy a new headset and like, you know, get better audio or something.
This is a double incentive.
So with that, I mean, absolutely exactly where I was going to branch off at that point is basically when you are making your stream, you are creating a community as part of it. It's a common thing. Everyone knows, like, well, if you don't know, here's your lesson. When you stream, you're making a community. You're making your own identity. You create something that nowhere else on Twitch has. That is the goal. And if you are being yourself and creating something, even if there is something similar on Twitch, there are enough of them that more than one of you can exist, even if you are identical, but you're not, because you're your own person. You'll have your own spin. What you need to do with monetization to make it a win-win for everyone is literally just building opportunities for your community to further identify itself as its community.
Absolutely.
To showcase the points of what makes your community a unique, different place. For me, my thing is, other than yelling at people when they spend their money on me and calling them ridiculous names and doing ridiculous things, my thing is paying it forward as much as I can. And I'll grab my community offline and we'll do things called goose strikes, where we'll all get into a channel, like 30 of us, we'll get into Discord. I'll mute up like as many people. I'll say, you know, I'll listen, we'll do this at the same time. We'll all get into their chat. We'll all follow at the exact same moment. We'll all host at the exact same moment. And if it's a chat that I know, I will type out a text in chat and say at the exact same moment. That'll just go, there's like 30 people saying the same thing. And after that, a lot of times what we've done is bits and drop bits at the same moment. And it just breaks everything. And but it's for a good place. And we also make sure that it's not a place in which you know, that wouldn't be appreciated, you know.
So yeah.
We're cognizant of that and appreciative of their situations. And I can pick up on cues very quickly. But the idea there is showcasing your community and showcasing what it means to be a community member. And with all of that, people want to show their support for not only you, but the community as a whole by supporting whatever it is you're doing. And there are just basic identifiers as a community that everyone has that you can build to. You can do things that accentuate who you are. What was it? I heard Zeke say this on one of the first Drop Frames shows, and it was it's the line, accentuate your idiosyncrasies, which means play up what makes you weird. Push it to the surface and push that to the absolute nth degree and give people the opportunity to showcase why it is that they are here.
Because it is a code-defined community. That's the nature of a community, right? It's not as much. There's a primary anchor, and it's the broadcaster or broadcasters when it's a crew. But that's ultimately that's what it is. It's an anchor, a guide, a captain, whatever it happens to be. But ain't no captain ever just been solo piloting a ship. Doesn't happen that way. And you got to have everybody's faith, and you got to have that commitment. And in this case, it's bringing a bunch of that joy and codifying the community together.
For sure. And do you guys use any like third-party tools or anything to like, you know, monetize your stream?
Yes.
Like Streamlabs? Like to help like with notifications. That's the only thing that I currently use.
Just the notification stuff?
Just the notification. Well, from the third-party stuff, it's just Streamlabs. Like I haven't done merch in God knows how long, probably like 3 years. I'm not a big merch person, but I don't know, for certain like occasions, like I just hit 5 years on Twitch and I was like, you know what, I think it's time to make a shirt. So
yeah,
and then I think it's about time. So Streamlabs has their merch store up now, and I've always like, I know that in the past we've had like other companies that we can get shirts from, like Teespring and you know designed by humans and stuff. And I don't know how many of them actually had the ability to create alerts for your stream. I'm not a professional in that at all, but seeing how easy it is just to use Streamlabs and to use the merch, like that makes me really excited. Because not only can I say thank you personally for buying one of my shirts, like it'll appear. And other people will be like, oh, cool. Like, I didn't know that was a thing, you know?
It's the same thing that
It's
Lowco
so
was mentioning, is
smart.
like the awareness of
Yeah.
the thing. Other people are like, oh, hey, yeah, that's a thing.
Oh,
And
I can buy
hey, they got
merch,
thanks for
like,
that. And
oh.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know. It's like simple thank yous go a long
Yeah,
way.
they
Like,
do.
yeah, like going back to the monetization stuff, and going kind of what you were saying, Goobers, how you have to build it. How I do it is I do events. I just do events randomly, either for holidays or just for game launches or just because. Like one of my favorite streams that I did was a game themed. It was actually to celebrate like an anniversary on stream, and I themed it towards Final Fantasy 14. It's an online game, Final Fantasy online game, and what I did is I had different things that they would get, kind of like what you were saying, Hunter, that they get for like doing bits or tipping and stuff, and that adds to the experience of not just the event having fun, but like they can go, like it's not something that they have to do. Like sometimes I would do things like I'll just do a giveaway for just whoever's in the chat as a thank you just for being here, or if they did want to do bits, like I had like this board of balloons, and anytime somebody did, I'd throw a balloon, it would pop, and it would have like a special like thing.
inside?
And yeah,
That's
inside
awesome.
of the
Oh, that's dope.
yeah,
That's great.
it took a while to make. I'm just gonna be honest, I'll do that. I have a different idea if you ever want to do something like that. Also in Final Fantasy 14, there's a character called an astrologian, and she's like a healer class that uses cards, like tarot cards, kind of. They're not tarot cards, but kind of cards like that. And I remember I hit like, oh, if you tip a certain amount, I will read your fortune. And it's like not.
That's awesome.
In the game?
No, just in real life.
That's awesome. That's so great.
It was actually really funny because I
might steal that. I'm just letting you know right now. I might just totally steal that.
I'm gonna write that down.
I'll tell you where I got the tarot cards. Amazon.
All right, good.
But literally all I did is I just took a card out. Like I would say, okay. I think I actually remember like the funniest moment. One of my mods did it, and what I did is I had a green screen, so I had like Galaxy. I put on a hat, and I was like totally like role playing here, totally role playing. Had the music going on and everything, and I pulled out the death card. So what I told everybody, I was like, ask me a question, and I'll give you an answer, like for your future. And he was like, I can't remember what the question was. It was something like, am I going to get a girlfriend? And it was a death card. And I go,
oh, no.
Well, not in this life. You gotta roll with it. And it was like the funniest experience. And like ever since then, like my community, as just going back to Goobers said, like how you build it, you build those experiences, you build those inside jokes, you build your community with the things that you do, what makes you unique in your stream. And then people will see that and see your hard work and will come back. And like, maybe they don't, do bits or sub yet, but they see like how much of a good time that you create that they want to come back more.
I've said this line just to emphasize what you just said there with the pushing up the inside jokes and the community aspect and understanding like who communities are. It's a real simple saying. You guys can all remember this. Twitch is a meme-based economy. And that is not just like your dumb memes that are, Bongo Cat, which is great, by the way. But like, it's a meme is an identity of like, basically, something and somebody else knows something, but not everyone knows something. And you guys connect and go, that's funny, but not everyone's going to get it, right? It's an inside joke. It's an identifier of a certain group of people. And they use that identifier to say, hey, I know what's going on there. And when you have that, when you have enough of that and enough of those identifiers to say, oh, that's a very this person thing, or that's a very this person thing. Oh, you're from there and you're from here and doing all that stuff. When you have those identifiers, it's easier for a community member to accentuate those and to bring those to the surface and do things to show that they are they're proud to be part of your communities.
Yeah.
Streaming on Twitch to 2 people, to 2,000 people. People watching you are proud to be in your community and they want to tell people about it. And the more memes you have, funny or not, are the better, right? And so when you have those things like pulling a tarot card out there, that's a meme, right? That's a meme, right? And you have that identifier now, and people want in on it. They want to be part of it.
That's very true about the community orientation with that. A critical part of the etymology is has the same Greek root as mime, which is mimesis, mimetics. It's mimicry, right? Same sort of thing. You swap around a letter. It's pretty close. And that is part of what makes communities. You have these and co-creating them. I keep going back to the co-defining, co-creating kind of a thing. Communities are not one person just does a thing and then everybody else also does that same thing, right? It's like people are feeding off each other. I'm not the same person that started streaming 4 years ago. And some of that is my own personal growth and failure. And a lot of it is what is the feedback loop between myself and the other people who are coming in. I don't spend my time doing anything as much as I do streaming, talking to the people who are in my channel specifically. And that back and forth, that is continuously growing. I mimic chat mimics me. We have that back and forth. And as long as there's that positive growth element, that's a big part of that.
Positive feedback loop.
Yeah. And so to your earlier point of like going into other streams and doing the goose strike, did you say? And having a monetized element to that.
We'll have to come into Streamer Square sometime.
Feeds back in. It's really cool. It's really good.
Yeah. And then moving on to like another related form of monetization is subscribing. Like, do you guys monetize or incentivize, I should say, subscriptions?
I do when they're slow.
I have a third party as well as Twitch, so yes. GameWest Patreon.
Okay, yeah. So we'll probably talk about that soon, but like let's talk about like directly like subscribing like on the platform, on your channel you can subscribe. With Twitch you have tiers. You have tier 1, tier 3. Those offer not much of a difference directly through Twitch, right? You get variation. One extra emote for the higher tiers. And tier 2 is like $10 a month, tier 3 $25 a month. So how do you guys, what are some ways that you guys incentivize subscribing? How like much you put onto subscriptions in terms of like that's a big chunk of your revenue or not? Like what do you think about those higher tiers? Do you guys offer different incentives for those? No. There's a lot of questions, but
at the base level, you have different alerts that you can do, right? And that's a soft incentive, right? That's not a hard incentive technically. So it's like, you could always do something that's like a little fizzly firework. It's like, yeah, you subbed, and then like have like the big cacophony, like a whole epic thing for like tier 3. You guys do anything like that?
I don't have any different emotes for it. I do have, I don't have any different notifications, but I do have different emotes. But it's not something, I think it's still soft. I don't think it's like, at least for my emotes, they're pretty similar. I don't really do anything much with that, but for subscribers to get more, I guess the only thing I have done in the past is like to build up hype, I guess, behind like, hey, we need like 100 more subscribers and we can unlock this new emote that you guys can use. That's something that I've seen a lot that's common. That's something that I've done in the past, but lately with sub gifting, I feel a lot of us have hit our goals a lot higher than we ever thought we would ever hit. So, and then we hit that goal and then we're like, okay, well, what am I going to do now?
Emote slots. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. I have 5 sitting and I'm like, I wasn't ready for this.
Exactly. Yeah. I can tell you something recent, like super recent that I actually already mentioned was the shirt. How I guess you can say I'm incentivizing subs by saying, I want you guys to be a part of the 5-year experience. So what I said is if you are a sub between a certain time, I'm going to put you on the back of the t-shirt. And that's something that
Awesome.
that I did and will currently
It's a great idea.
It's just one idea that I can think of at the moment. So yeah.
Yeah, and you also see, you mentioned like the sub points. That's a big thing, especially with Twitch, where they've changed the way the sub point system works. Where it's like, okay, you at one time you can be like only like 200 points away from your next emote. Like that's not that much, especially with the sub gifting that's been happening.
Yeah.
So by setting like goals, like okay, if we hit this many sub points, like it's the same thing that Hunter mentioned earlier, like incentives, like different things, like okay, I will eat a ghost pepper if we hit 1,200 sub points or something.
Yep. Or banana in my case, something I really don't want to do.
I would say some of the other things. Okay, I gotta ask you about that after the cast, but like bananas. What the fuck? All right. Well, anyway, so the other thing I was gonna say is there are two types of sub goals in my brain. There's the planned one where you're like, we're gonna do this, and like emote slots or a similar version, or you want to hit some sort of magical number for your stream, whatever it is. You plan something out, you do incentivization, you prepare it, right? Then there is the on the spot stuff. This is my jam. This is where I do a lot of my stuff at, where the ball gets rolling in chat enough where people start subbing. As we were saying earlier, the word sub gets said, people start seeing it, and it just starts rolling and rolling and rolling, and right, and you can see some momentum, right? And somewhere in there, sometimes chat will start saying something about, if we get to this many, would you do this?
My answer is usually no to that question.
Yes, it is usually a no. However, if you can find a way to bargain with them,
Mayor Goobers,
and say, Mayor, get out of here, memes. All right, anyway, but so if you can, yeah, okay, fine. So basically, my chat recently got me to agree that if I ever hit 3,000 sub points, I would fill out the paperwork to officially declare my candidacy for mayor of Seattle. I would fill out the paperwork. I can't submit it because it's 3 years away and it costs $1,700. So
really?
Yes. So we looked. I would have submitted it if it was sooner and didn't cost an insane amount of money. But I would fill out the paperwork. I would do that. And they were like, all right, these are fair stipulations to the rules. You can fill it out. Okay, great. We'll take it. I'm like, all right, fine. If you dorks get to 3,000 sub points, fine, whatever, right? It's a ways away. They haven't hit it yet, but things like that can evolve into an immense moment, an immense identifier of your community that is absolutely in a sub train where it's on the spot. And if you're there and ready to roll with your community, they are as much a part of creating the content as you are. And that moment right there, where they're giving you this opportunity to say, if we get to this point, would you agree to do this? And it's not something you thought of, but it's the community. You are giving them a moment, specifically the person who says that. And if you ever make it, like, has this trophy forever that they will just put on their mantle, like, that was my idea, I did that. And that's great. And they should be happy about that. But if you can get behind that, give them opportunities to push their own ideas into the stream and truly showcase how Twitch is a collaborative content creation device or platform, then yeah, you can make a lot of that happen just on the fly, So it's a very improv thing, right? It's a yes and, you don't say no, you just say yes and you adjust it on the fly, right? I'm not saying don't say no to sub goals and somebody's like, would you jump off a building for 12,000 subs? No.
I'm not sucking on my own toe, man.
Yep.
That's
exactly.
Disgusting. I'm not doing that.
Yep, exactly, right? But that's
sucks.
that's what I mean to say though, is that there's those two kinds of things. There's a planned incentivization, and there's people who are behind your stream and want to get other people behind the idea. And if you're open to the idea and bargain a little bit.
What about the simple and basic ones? Things like Discord access. You got you know, some people have a completely sub-only Discord because they didn't want to do Discord in the first place, but they were like, if you're going to pay me, and there are others, like I used to have several channels that were sub access only. Now I have one, and it's the worst one. So congratulations, I guess you subbed, and now you have access to the worst channel in my Discord. You know, and that's to your same kind of point. Like that gets into the memeiness. I think it's called the sewer because it's just the whole thing is just that. But on a very real talk to that too, I don't want random people to be able to get in there and just go completely bonkers with it. You know, it's like there's a little bit of trust. Like I trust you with the trash, okay, and that kind of stuff. Now you also have very simple things that you can do in real life. I don't have it around right now, but this would be a fine enough stand-in. I have it's connected to an emote that I have that was a bit thematic for the channel. It was a stuffed dude that had a little backpack, and I actually might have those nearby. Yeah, I have fake $100 bills. They're tiny, fake $100 bills, and I'd write down somebody's name on when they subbed, and I'd tear it off and I'd put it in the backpack, and there was like a whole little dance, and it'd be like, "Oh, I'm eating your soul now. Thanks for feeding me." And this whole at the same time as it had this symbolism to it. It's like, you know, it's funny on the one side because it's like, I'm a streamer. I've got golden yachts. I don't care about money. On the other side, it was like, you are more important to me than money, right? And so it's like, so no matter how I was feeling in the day, like I could be feeling like really emotional and really grateful, be like, this is what this means to me. Sometimes it's really comical, and you can play with that. And that's a really simple, self-created kind of like just looking around your room, like what stupid thing can I do? You're just kind of piecing together ideas until something shows up, and it doesn't cost you much. Yeah.
I got an automaton, man.
Yeah.
That's the dumbest instrument ever, and it's amazing.
Very useful. Absolutely.
Yeah, I used to use like a stuffed cat to thank subs.
Oh,
have Grumpy Cat.
I have
come on the
this
stream.
plushie that I made. Every time somebody subs, I put it up and I say thank you. Or if somebody donates, I show the rupee.
Oh, and here's another thing. One that I've done it before, sort of light, and I'm gonna do it again here soon. Is part of that whole collecting the names thing. Is do a giveaway for something that's not worth any money, but still to the same kind of theme. It's related to the channel. So it can be, you know, I'll do like a little, you know, stick figure. What are the flip books? You know, and it's like my own head popping off, and then I'm using it as a soccer ball. It doesn't really matter what it is. Draw the name out of who subbed this month, and that person will, you know, get the thing. If I can learn how to mail stuff, I think I'm still like 3 years behind on one particular item getting it mailed down. We'll get there. But things like this are things that you can self-construct that you don't have to worry about. I would say first and foremost for a lot of these things is don't spend more money to try and make more money. You have to spend money to make money, but if you're looking to generate revenue for yourself and you're still in the early stages of figuring that out, don't go blasting out tons of money thinking that it's going to draw in tons, because what happens if it doesn't? If you can manage to generate revenue by spending almost $0, you're good. Use that to then make something better, to spend that on something better, to create more for the channel.
Yeah. And Goobers mentioned this earlier, Patreon and GameWisp. Do you guys use
other
those?
options?
And like briefly, like what are they?
So I've had pretty good success with mine. I'm going through a revamp of mine where I'm actually switching to Patreon. But
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean the GameWist's company is having just a focus shift, and so it's, you know, just that's fine. They haven't like axed my GameWist or anything like that, but I'm like, okay, well you're doing something else. I'll migrate my way over. No big deal. But the big things, the big draws that I have are, the biggest one that I have currently, because I'm about to relaunch and do a whole bunch of stuff like you could cost an insane amount of money, but you can get like an original art piece from me and stuff like that. Like that's going to be in the future, and I have no metrics on it because I haven't done it yet. But the big one that I have done that I think the community very much enjoys is I actually do shirts through GameWisp right now. And the way that I do that is my top 3 tiers, $25, $50, and $100 a month, you can get, there's 3 different shirts. You can get one of those shirts. If you're at the top tier, you get the top tier shirt. You don't get the rest. You have to back your sub down to get all 3. Basically, the way that it works is that after 3 months, I tally everybody up. I see who qualifies. And my parents own a t-shirt printing business, very small, like out of their basement kind of a thing. They make the shirts. I get the addresses and I send them out, and they don't have to pay anything except for their subscription, and it just gets sent to them. And they earn these what are called officer shirts. They're the only way you can get them is through the game. That is the only way you will ever be able to get these shirts. And people that want to support, they go and they do this, and that's another cultural identifier of like, it's like, oh God, that guy's got the first generation of the Hierarch of Holy Shit shirt. Like, there's like 5 of those that have been sent out ever. That's awesome.
Yeah.
You know? And so like, that's a huge draw for my channel is that one currently. But I'm hoping to split it between that, which will still be around. I've got my second gen of shirts that are, the designs have been done. I'm going to be doing that and splitting that between that and art, and doing things like that with art as well.
So before Twitch had an affiliate system, like GameWist and Patreon were how you could make a case for Twitch to get partnered, and you still can. I mean, now you have like a direct sub button though. So I think that's why GameWist has changed their shift, is because like basically GameWist was a sub button for what are now affiliates. So now that affiliates exist, like it really hurt their market. So I think like, you know, those tools are really useful when you want to provide extra for more money than like what you would get through Twitch, right? Like to provide extra things, like to do whatever it is that like takes extra time outside of like providing content that you would like to monetize. Like Goobers mentioned, like maybe shirts or something.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if I could, so this is a big thing that like a lot of people, like I really want to share this with as many people as I can, is the fact that a third-party subscription service, GameWist, Patreon, whatever it is, third-party subscription service is an opportunity for that. A Twitch sub and a Patreon sub are totally different things, are absolutely worlds apart. And a lot of people don't realize this. And the reason is because Twitch has auto-fulfilling benefits.
Yes.
Those are there, they are done, the sub happens, and we're good. The Patreon and stuff has custom tiered benefits. And if you want to do something like that, don't just do I mean, you can, I don't want to say, but my suggestion would be, if you want to make the most out of it, make something that is built specifically for your community. When I started my GameWisp, my highest tier was the $100 tier, and it was a joke tier. It was bullshit. And the reason was because the person who was there got a credit or some amount of credits a month for me to say the word moist, because I hate that word. I had 7 people subscribe to that level. In the first month. You know,
the interesting
it's cultural identifiers.
And the interesting thing about these services is like it transcends whatever platform you're using, right? Like,
yes,
you're not at that point, like you're creating something to support your brand as a whole, rather than like, hey, I'm a Twitch streamer, sub to me on Twitch. It's like, okay, you could sub to me on Patreon and support all these other things I'm doing or that I want to do, and like me as a person and the different types of content I provide.
Yeah, I think that's fantastic for a variety of reasons. If I am doing, you know, an interesting, subathon, and one of the goals is I'll put a boot on my head. I put a boot on my head, and Twitch is like, no, you're banned. No boots on head. Like, okay, fine. I go over to another platform, Facebook, Mixer, whatever it happens to be. I don't get to carry my subs with me over there. That doesn't happen if you have platforms outside of your broadcasting platform that you use, and hopefully and ideally use intelligently, use to really make a robust community revenue stream, that is something that persists regardless of where you are. And it's something that you've already refined a bit. You know, it's like the longer you're with it, you're going to be changing stuff up. You'll see what works, what doesn't. Then you move over anywhere else. It doesn't matter whether or not the platform you're on implodes, or you just want to change a pace, or you get a contract for something or whatever. That's something that you will have that already looks good, already works well, and that people who even want to stay on your old platform may continue to use because they want to be a part of it. They just don't really use the other platform so much. You know, that's a really good point.
Yeah. And like, I guess like another thing is I just lost my thought. Another thing is I lost a thought.
Doing the Patreon thing, I want to try that now. Probably not right now. Probably when I'm like less busy and stuff. But that was like, really, you gave me some good ideas. You're gonna steal my Stalden thing. I'm gonna steal that idea.
Steal my ideas. Steal the shirt idea. It's great. People love it. It's a different kind of stuff, right? But like, you know, that's the other thing I was gonna say, and you just reminded me. Be ready. It can be a lot of work. Don't overextend yourself. I have gotten caught in that thing so many times. It's very easy to overextend yourself, overpromise, and underdeliver. And I mean, I'm guilty of it just as the next, but I do my best to make sure that happens.
Speaking of not overextending, one of the things that I wanted to make sure that we touched on was not over. I don't know what the right term is here, but not over broadening your options that you're giving to people, right? I have coffee, I have merch on DBH, shirts, mugs, hoodies, hats. It's a pretty big breadth, but it's all on one store. You know, so it's not mix and match all over the place. So you want to get that kind of stuff, you go to one place. You want to get coffee, I have a link for that, and then maybe add in one or two more things. But if you have 15 options, and this happens to so many people, you're starting out streaming, or you've been doing it for a little bit and you're like, I need to really up my game. Oh, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. And then you present them all and nobody's doing any of it.
It gets overwhelming.
Easily.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, so there's two schools of thought, right? Like on one hand, you need to diversify your revenue streams. Yeah. Like you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket.
It's
as a content creator, don't want to rely 100% on subs or 80% on subs and 20% on tips or something. Like it's really scary. But I think with what you're saying is, like, I think it's okay to have these different ways to monetize, but pick what you want to really focus on. Like I have an Amazon link, but I'm not like, guys, Amazon, buy from Amazon. Like it's there below the stream. People ask for it. If they want it, they know it exists. But, you know, my focus is like probably like subs or something, especially with the sub gifting right now. Like that's been my focus. I'm not like, hey guys, you can sub and, go check out my merch and then go check out my bits and then go tip below the stream and then go check the Amazon. Like,
do your whole list of things.
Right. Like you could have these other revenue streams exist, but just like pick just something like that you're like, hey, you can like tip and,
I mean, what you really need is like, if you are going to have a billion revenue streams, you can make them work if you do a couple things. Number one, if you throw them at everyone at the same time, they're going to have what's called analysis paralysis. They're going to just look at it. They're going to go, I don't know what to pick, so I'm not going to pick anything. And that'll be it. You stagger the releases, and this happens naturally a lot of times, like, but don't overlap them really close to each other and just be like, hey, we're doing this, now we're doing this, now we're doing this, now we're doing this. People have a limited amount of disposable income every month, so don't assume that they're just going to appear out of nowhere. And stagger those releases and have your primary ones, like Lowco says, where you're talking about it or mentioning it to people, and then have your secondaries and your tertiaries and so far and so on and so forth. And if people get more ingrained in the community, they will be more involved. For me, like, I have an underwear sponsorship. I don't know if you guys know this, but I am sponsored by MeUndies right now. Yes. And they are amazing because they're just as dorky, but they're a really good company. And I got people really excited for it when we got that. It did really well for me, right? And it's still going on, but I don't banging out every single stream, just like buy my underwear. Like that's not a thing I do, right?
Wear me.
Yeah, it's listen, if I could get a Goo themed underwear from MeUndies. But aside from that though, it sits below my stream. It is there. I'm hype about it when I launched it, and maybe there will be a resurgence of it here and there. I'm technically supposed to be doing a fashion show because the people hit the goals that we set for subscribing. Yep, a TOS
Is that allowed on
friendly.
Twitch?
Yep, I was gonna say a TOS friendly underwear fashion show. I'm with you there. I will be doing that hopefully before TwitchCon. But you know, it's things like that, right? That was at the time I got that sponsorship. That was what was interesting. That was what people's focus on. That's what I wanted people to focus on, and they did. And other stuff got kind of pushed to the side a little bit. Now that that's subsided, that's going down, which is fine. And I'm bringing other things up, and it's this ebb and flow of like pick and choose what you want to focus on. You know,
100%.
All about focusing. If you add way too much, as you said, analysis paralysis, they just won't choose anything.
Yeah. You get the overchoice.
And it's common human psychology. It's not a matter of like it's only on Twitch. No, it's like you walk into an aisle that has 30 jams on the wall, and you're gonna go, I'm good. I'll just butter on toast. That's fine, right? But if you walk in there and it's got like 4 and they're good choices, that's easy.
That was part of the first study was the 4 to 180 choices or whatever.
Yep.
And people were happier with the 4 choices overall, significantly happier.
They would say they wanted the more choices. That's another thing. If you're streaming and you ask your chat, do you want like all of these things? They're gonna go, yes, I like all the choices. Human psychology, and your brain is gonna go, no, you don't. But I'm gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
So don't there is a limit. So don't go over the board, even if people say they want more choices.
I'd honestly say for that kind of stuff, pick what you want and a selection of that, and then let people choose from what you already want to do. And this is also true with game selection. This was my first experience with that. It was very saddening. Not for myself though, fortunately, but seeing somebody who would put out straw polls and stuff for like, what game would you guys like to see? And then people would pick whatever game, and nobody would show up for it. And they're like, what is happening?
That's why I got rid of my sub days. I couldn't do it anymore because like I'll be like, oh, y'all want to play Mario Kart? Okay, 2 people. Thank you for coming. And it's like, okay, now what do y'all really want to play? Okay, well I'm just gonna pick something. Y'all are gonna join me, and that actually ended up working better.
And the real reason why that is because people get excited about what you get excited about. They're here for you and the stream and the community. Exactly. And if you're not excited about it, they're out. Like your community will know if you're not excited about something before you realize it.
Mm-hmm. It goes the same with emotes. Like even as you said, you have 5 that you're waiting on. Like you're like, I don't know what to do. You ask the community, they give you like 50 million lists, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna pick the 4 that I like. I'm gonna give you those 4. You can choose 4.
Yeah. I still have so this is on the subject of something that you reminded me of. I still have my tier 3, my $25 tier 3 emote was originally part of my launch set of emotes. That was a throwaway emote, and nobody likes it. It's just okay, and I've not done anything with it. I don't. Do you think it's really valuable? Do you think it's worthwhile to provide some kind of a focus
for the tier 2?
For those other tiers.
Yeah. I mean, for the longest time, I was like you. I had like old emotes that I got rid of a while ago because I just couldn't think of anything. Maybe like if something like pops on, like some kind of meme, like the bongo cat.
Right.
I feel like those can be useful if you are if you can draw. That's another thing that makes people actually want it. I mean, even if you can't draw,
even if you can't, Lowco's got some really.
Yeah, I know. I said Lowco.
It's so fun.
What do you mean if you can? What are you talking about? If you can't draw, why are you using me as an example for that?
I misspoke. I meant Goobers, who's obviously not in his chair anymore.
Right. I mean, here's the thing: the people that are subbing the higher tiers, they're not subbing for one extra emote, like most of the time. I mean, unless you do have a hand-drawn, book or emote, that maybe. But, unless you're providing like actual like listing benefits, like tier 1, you get this, tier 2, you get like, oh, you get a movie night, and tier 3 you get like something extra, like a shirt every couple months or something.
I'm actually writing that down too. That's a really good idea.
What's a movie night?
Working sub tiers like Patreon tiers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
that hadn't occurred to me.
Like adding like tier 2, tier 3 on Discord even, and putting them in the Discord, like in those little, that's just a small thing though.
Yeah, I mean, so unless like if you're not doing anything with your tier 2 and your tier 3, like besides the emotes, like don't fret about like, oh my god, I need a tier 3 worthy emote. Like don't fret about that, because if someone's subbing at a higher tier, they're probably just subbing to support you extra.
Yes, they are. My tier 3 emote is
that's what I was just talking about.
It's a kaleidoscope, because when I was in college, I made a pretentious video and I said something about a kaleidoscope. It's just
that's really niche, nuanced.
I went to film school and I have this one film, and it was like my prize jewel. And then I watched it like 5 years later. I'm like, dear God, what the fuck?
Yeah,
so just Goobs pretentious is what the emote is.
So we are going to start gathering questions for Q&A. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to holler in the chat, and we'll do our best to answer. We have a question from Steez, who says, I was wondering if you had any thoughts on how charity events affect your channel's monetization, which is a great question, and definitely something to keep in mind. Hunter, you want to go?
I wanted to. Do either of our esteemed and illustrious guests have post charity, or even during, even throughout your charity drives and such, how that affects your revenue streams?
You take a hit.
Yeah.
Not even gonna. There's no reason to sugarcoat it. You are giving money to charity, and because it's not coming out of your pocket, doesn't mean that it's not you giving money to charity, because they are. Your community is giving money directly to charity, and that's the disposable income that you have. There is no number that we have to know, like, well, I have this many people, therefore I should have this much disposable income for them to use, and blah 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 blah. No, that doesn't exist.
That number,
but you do. All right. Well, we got a scientist over here. Let me just okay. But no, I mean, you take a hit. You take a hit, and let me put it this way. And this is me. This is how I do it, so you don't have to. And think about it. I mean, I trust my people a lot. I trust my community a lot. And by trusting, I basically will go and do community, oh my God, charity events. And specifically, I have Metal Meal Meltdown coming up in November. And you know, that the combined community of the greater community of my channel dropped $18,000 in a week. Sorry. And that's a lot of money that I'm not making, especially because during those streams, all of that money goes to the charity. And that's a week of streaming. I'm making literally nothing aside from the subs. Is that a bad thing? Heck no. Because what you are doing, and it's what it's worth its weight in gold, is investing in the trust and investing in your community by saying, I'm going to take a hit so that we can do something amazing together. And people will remember that.
Yeah, it's definitely something to like plan accordingly for. If you're planning on doing charity streams, like, you know, I go very hard for St. Jude in May. Yeah. Like, you need to allocate your funds appropriately, being like, okay, I probably will not make that much this month. Like, I don't make any extravagant purchases. Like, realize like it's gonna take. It's not just that month. It's gonna be like the month after that's slow too, because people are.
And there's a term for that, right? Charity fatigue.
Yeah. Oh.
That's what it's called. So I know that Lowco and I both did an entire month for St. Jude, but Lowco, did you have you had central focused streams where it was about that? Did you have?
Yeah.
Was it completely everything was going to St. Jude? Like no tip button, that thing?
I don't actually remember. I have definitely experimented with both methods. Like, I don't remember what I did this year, but I've experimented with doing like just the whole month. Like, I think I've done like where 50% of all revenue I will donate out of my own pocket to St. Jude, and I've done, I think this month where I've done like planned days, like let's go hard these days for St. Jude. But like that, it still affects the entire month, right? Like, I launched my merch store this summer, and I waited a full month and a half after May ended because I was like, there's no point launching a merch store like the week after charity streams. No one has any, no one can buy merch right now. And now you're just like that's a lot. That's a lot for your community to like, that's a lot of pressure. It's like, hey, buy my clothes now. Like, you guys just spent a ton of money donating to charity. Like, spend more money here. Like, it just doesn't make any sense.
So for my experience and my analysis, which is kind of a soft analysis, the ideal scenario is to create limited time spans for and structured content for charity streams for this purpose. My most recent experience is still haunting my wallet. I'm several $1,000s in personal debt because of 1 month, 0 tips. And tips is over 50%. Tips is the majority of the revenue for my stream. 0 tips because it took the link off completely. It was only for St. Jude. The month after that, almost 0 tips, even though the tip button was back up. So it's not so much the idea that money that would go to you isn't. The charity fatigue thing is a big issue that doesn't directly connect to money's going somewhere other than you. It's already gone there, and the psychology is different. I feel like you circumvent that by having targeted, small, limited things. There's still going to be charity fatigue, but it doesn't have to haunt you. So I had 2 months out of the year. That's 1/6 of the year with very, very, very little revenue by comparison. That's definitely problematic. That's a tough one. What's that?
Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say to let that be a consideration when it comes to how you rely on your streams, and what we're talking about is planning for that. Let that be a part of your considerations for the plan.
And I think what's a good balance for that is where you do like, okay, St. Jude is, the month of May. I'm going to pick, 2 or 3 days spread throughout the month. That's going to be like just for charity, 100% to charity. But then what you can also do is do like, okay, I'm going to donate 10% of like sub revenue for that month, or 100% of ad revenue or something for that month. And that kind of incentivizes people like, oh, I'm going to sub, I can sub free with Twitch Prime, and, a percent goes to the charity, but I'm still supporting the streamer at the same time. So it kind of can help like cushion that. Yeah, go ahead.
I wanted to basically say a word of caution if doing that. I've heard very like a lot of horror stories in which people have said and seen firsthand, people have said, okay, you tip this to me, or all the subs or the revenue and stuff like that will go to the charity and whatever. And unfortunately, and this is a harsh reality of the delicacy of the system and the world that we live in, is that if people say certain things, word can get around that maybe you didn't give all the money, or maybe you kept some of it, or something like that. Now you're having to you're having to be put in the situation where you have to show proof that you did, and that's very messy. So do I think that it's something that you should never do? No, I do things like that all the time. Like I bought my community manager a brand new DX Racer. I guess that actually went straight to her PayPal. I got her a Switch one day, and that went to my PayPal. And I said, I will get her a Switch, right? And I bought it on stream. Like I didn't show all the stuff, but I bought it on stream and stuff like that. But there's that proof is needed, as validation to be like, I did it. That's why Tiltify is great, because you don't touch it.
Anyone can see what people have donated. So like at the end of the month, you can see, oh, the Looney Bin, as a community, this is what we've raised on top of like what you guys have raised. So that's nice as well. And like that's a good point. Like take a screenshot of like, you don't have to show any personal information, but you can say like, oh, you just donated this amount. That is really a terrible thing that people do. That is a good point. Wes asked, what are some ways to reach out to a brand? And if it becomes a more formal discussion, what type of metrics should you be using to secure a deal, sponsorship, or any type of partnership?
That's an interesting one. I can never remember the algorithms to get the best metrics. Like, where's Omid? Omid,
I know. This is an Omid
give me your
question.
numbers, dude. Because we had him on for the first show of this season.
Yeah,
and
he'll
was
definitely be
laying
back
it out.
too.
It was very useful. But some of the factors, a lot of people like to look at the surface stuff and say, I have this many average viewers, I have this many followers. That here have that information, and that should speak to what my value is. But it doesn't for most companies. Most companies want to see what that means, why that's valuable, because it's one of the things we talk about a lot, or every once in a while. Maybe I just do this. Is that there are streamers out there who have 10,000 viewers who do not pull in the revenue for their streams as a whole as anybody at this table right now, right? Thousands of people are watching, nobody's spending any money. If you throw a link to, for any branded item, like, Pepto-Bismol, I haven't seen right here, lots.
I
was like, do I remind you, Pete?
Like, beautiful. Whatever it happens to be, you get a link in there. They cannot safely expect anybody to click on that link and for any revenue to be generated. What are the numbers that actually produce that? Right, that seems to be part of the question. A lot of it is the what is it, like the minutes watched per viewer, like your viewer minute watch average? What there's
go to everyone needs to know about the site called, I don't know how to spell it, I never remember, it's like Solinome.
Solinome, yeah.
Solinome is currently the best website to get metrics,
a breakdown of your metrics, yeah,
and you give minutes watched and all that stuff. Like we can even do, like, we do stuff with our team all the time to find minutes watched and see the value that we bring when we bring marketing decks to big people. That's probably your best resource. I have no idea where that. There it is. Thank you, Hazmat. I can't spell.
Yeah, that's the best one that's out there currently, without you having to do as much of the work. But you still need to know what you're going to be presenting to somebody. Not just going like, "Hey, go look at my, my profile and Sully know."
Like, what does the number mean? Why do they give a crap about number? Yeah. Like, that's why people say, like, I've got 35 billion followers on Twitch, but my average concurrent is 12. Like.
Yeah, same thing. Look at Twitter. Like, if you have 1 million followers on Twitter, but 3 people comment and you get 8 favorites, that doesn't mean anything. That doesn't translate. I think it's a really good question. It's one that I can't fully answer. I wish I could.
It's hard. I mean, like, I'm terrible at talking to companies. Always have been. I can't speak corporate. I never have been able to. I don't know why. I'm very, very direct and abrasive when I go to talk to somebody. I'm like, hey, I want to play your game. And do this special event for it. Pay me, Hey,
Kylie, do you have any metrics?
Well, going back to what Goobers was saying about the marketing deck, that's something that I really use to my advantage. Like, I don't know I've never seen anybody else's marketing deck but my own. So y'all can share me. I mean, I don't mind like showing people what mine looks like, because not many people even know to make one in the first place.
Yeah, right.
Even know what a marketing deck even is. Basically, how I use it, it's kind of like a mini presentation of just my brand, who I am, my metrics, not in a boring, this is my follow, this is my sub, this is like nothing boring like that. And you just kind of add it throughout the presentation. But it is also like, to the point, like this is why I'm showing you what I'm showing. And like also screenshots of just like fun events or fun things or fun something that you do on your stream.
Clips, highlights.
Yeah, clips, highlights, like even just screenshots of like a baking stream. Like if you're trying to go to like Blue Apron or something and you want to get like a deal with them, you can show like, hey, I have done all of these things. My community really enjoys it. Not only do they enjoy it, but this is how many viewers I had when I was doing this event. This is how many active people in the chat were talking at the time, like stuff like that. And honestly, as I said, I don't really have any metrics. I'm really bad at talking with brands still. I'm not like anything like what I usually do is I use this one website called like Gamers Digest. and they basically have like a list of emails for different companies. This is all just about games though. Like if I want to get in contact with like a new game coming out, sometimes they have like the agency, and then you can see who to contact for the agency. And I just said, hey, you know, my name's Kylie, very brief information. This is what I normally play on my stream. And I just attached my marketing deck. I don't talk about numbers. And I said, you know, I would really look forward to, you know, building a relationship with your company, maybe doing like, you know, paid sponsorship, or just, you know, sending me a key so I can show your game. Like, it just depends what you want to do. Like, and then sometimes you get lucky. Like sometimes friends will actually come to you and they'll be like, hey, would you mind eating Hot Pockets on stream?
Did you do that? Did you actually do? Oh my God, that's awesome.
Like,
that's so great.
I was like, what? Okay.
I feel like a lot of us are in this same position. Like, I know for myself, talking to companies, I feel like I feel a little bit like the jackhole CEO who's like, you know, I'm in my, like, I'm a big dude. I'm in my suit and like, I definitely slick back hair and
got a big stogie, just like,
and I got and I'm like, right. I'm sucking back some smoke. And, you know, I'm talking about like all the big things I can do for you. And they're like, okay, yeah, but where are the metrics? And I'm like, hey, number guy, where's the numbers guy?
Yeah.
I don't have that stuff. Like, it doesn't stick in my head in the same way. I know why it's valuable. I know what's valuable, but I don't have the information itself to present out.
I mean,
which
frankly,
the marketing deck is really valuable.
Yeah.
If you can just do that work once and update every once in a while and keep the algorithms there, like why you're referencing that information, so you can go back and change it over time as you grow. That is, you just get in there and do the work so that you have it and don't have to remember it, because most of us won't remember.
I would say a couple of things is that, number one, and this is for mid to high level streamers, is an agent. You know, a lot of us have. Do all of you guys have one? Yeah. Oh, you don't? Okay. All right. We'll talk later, Kylie. But it's we have somebody who goes and gets that's their job. They go and get these deals, and as part of that, they take a cut of what you would make, which is
they're getting it for you when you're not getting it.
It's money that you
wouldn't have had.
Gotten. So it's generally a win-win deal, as long as you're protecting yourself in that. The other thing is, always ask yourself, why? Why are you trying to do some sort of an event? Why do you want a sponsorship? Why do you want them to pay you? Like,
be honest with yourself about it. You can be selfish. Write down your actual answer.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you could say, I just want to get paid. And
I want money. I need to not die this month.
And if that's the case, that's the case. But if you have the best situations to get those, is basically saying like, you know, I use blank all the time. I play this game all the time. I do this thing all the time. And I'm already using your products. If you're already using their products and you just swear by them and they're just good on their own merit, you can present to them and say, there you go. Perfect. And you can just say like, you know, like, hey, listen, I've been using your stuff for years. Like, I had this conversation with the company at West, and I said, a fairly big company, which was really actually a great conversation to have, but it was basically, I've been using your stuff for years. I have no plan on stopping that. Whenever people ask me about my gear or whatever I'm using, I tell them about it because it works.
Already believe in the products.
And there's no reason, based on my size, what I do, and what I can do for you, that we shouldn't be working together. And the guy was just like, yeah, that kind of explains itself there. Email
checks out.
Right? And there you go. You already believe in the product, you already use their stuff. Like, what else do you need? You know? And it's just like, you could do extra, I suppose, but that's something to keep in mind. And the other final thing about that is, if you ever have a sponsorship, know the laws about that. Know what you are legally, contractually obligated to do, and if you can, get a freaking contract.
Oh, no, not if you can. Just get a contract.
You need a contract.
Get a contract. Back out.
Yep.
Don't do it.
Yep.
Even if it's for your brother's, you know, firm, whatever it happens to be, your brother should be able to get your contract.
Get a contract.
I will highly recommend, for more information on this, to check out, we did an episode with Omid from OP Group, which is a talent agency or a talent management company for streamers and content creators. I highly recommend this episode of the Stream Scene. This is way back, and
Links
we're
in the
definitely going to be
chat.
getting him on again in the future because he would like to talk, and he's brilliant about this stuff. So definitely check that out, and check out they do a weekly show on Fridays on Omid's Twitch channel where they talk about sponsorships like the entire time. It's really great information. But yeah, other than that, that is gonna actually do it for us today, guys. So that went
awesome. Really quick.
That
did
yeah.
go quick.
But Lowco, I have another 3 hours of content to talk about.
I know. We could seriously go on and on about this all day. Like I love talking about this kind of stuff. It's so interesting. But yeah, hopefully we helped answer your guys' questions. And if you guys have any more questions, definitely check the Streamer Squared Discord. And we are there. There's a lot of streamers there. There's a lot of smart people there that can help you. So definitely check that out. But let's do some shout outs. MissKyliee, where can we find you? And what are you up to?
So my name's MissKyliee with 2 E's. That's on my Twitter and my Twitch. But yeah, as I said, I've just been playing variety of games. I'm really looking forward to MapleStory 2 that's coming out October 1st. So I'm just so thrilled. So I'm gonna probably be like focusing on that. Also, I'm gonna be on the front page every Wednesday until October 10th.
What?
Oh my god, nice.
I didn't think about that before, but yeah, I'm gonna be on the front page.
Congratulations.
So, thank you. I appreciate it.
And congratulations to all of the viewers who are going to be watching the front page stuff, because they now get exposed to your awesomeness.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you. That's sweet.
Goobers?
Hi, I'm Goobers515. I'm a variety caster. I do all sorts of stuff, playing games. The variety caster, not variety gamer. I do play a lot of games, but I also do a lot of other stuff. It's very important difference there.
That's true.
But the big thing is right now I will have a stream in an hour-ish. And I stream 6 days a week. One of them is on Table Story, and I do a role-playing show. The other stuff is I do a lot of stuff with my team, MissKyliee, every other 2 weeks, which will be next Tuesday. Will be Team Tuesday on Little Seha's channel, and it's going to be ridiculous. That one she has been planning for weeks, and it's going to be earth-shatteringly crazy. So make sure you guys are there for that one. And the only other thing is, hopefully before TwitchCon, I'm going to get the MeUndies fashion show stream happening. So make sure that you guys follow for that one, because it'll just be as awkward as you can imagine. And
I'll let you do the awkward for me as I watch.
That's what I'm here for, man. That's what I'm here for. So yeah, Goobers515 on Twitch and Twitter and Instagram. If you guys want to see all of my art, it's on my Instagram. But yeah, Twitch and Twitter is that stuff, is Goobers515, and that's who I am. Thanks for having me, guys. I really appreciate it. Thanks for having me again after a week break.
Yeah, that's true.
We loved you so much. We needed you back.
We had to let you rest your voice, though. We know how important that is to you.
Hunter, what about you?
Why? I got to. Davaloons makes a good point. This is relevant to the subject at hand. I am TheHunterWild, a variety streamer who, for my last 2 streams, I technically put on a game. It's called RimWorld. It's my top streamed game by 2 times. 750 hours in it.
Wow.
I literally, over 2 streams, built 2 rooms. Now, this is something that takes maybe 3 minutes. It was all tips. It was all hot sauce and spicy food and spicy drinks and a whole lot of my favorite Pepto.
How are you not sponsored yet? How are you not sponsored yet? I'm upset.
How are we not?
You.
We need to get Streamer Square sponsored. Like
Streamer Square. But it's it can be a very relaxed stream, but it's definitely variety. And I think I'll make the same distinction that Goobers just introduced to me. I'm a variety. It's not variety games by themselves. It's variety streams, because sometimes I'm just not allowed to actually play the games. And every once in a while we'll do an IRL stream, that kind of stuff. Game analysis, I like doing that too. You can find me on twitch.tv/TheHunterWild and over on Twitter @TheHunterWild TV. see all the things that are going on, including an upcoming event that I have for Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Going to be playing it
Yes.
3 days early, and I am insanely excited for this game. We're going to have some new emotes that are maybe a little ancient Greek themed.
Nice.
Really amped for that. And what about you, Lowco? Our pride and joy.
I am on twitch.tv/Lowco. I just finished Shadow of the Tomb Raider. I think I'm gonna check out. What am I gonna play? Kingdom Pathfinder. It's Kingdom. It's something like that. It's like it looks like a Dragon Age Origins. Pathfinder Kingmaker.
I think
cool.
Greens has been talking about that a lot.
He has. I'm like, okay, I'll just play this game. It's coming out tomorrow. I just finished Tomb Raider. Green won't stop talking about it. I might as well play it. So I'm gonna check out that, and cool. I am then Assassin's Creed Odyssey. That is my next target. I cannot wait. I'm so excited. But I also run Streamer Square. So if you guys like what we're doing here, you guys can find us here on Twitch. I will be here tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern Time doing the Stream Doctor, where you could submit your channel and I will give you feedback. I will talk to you. I will answer your questions directly. It's like a little hangout with me and you guys. So that's tomorrow, an hour before the show
coaching
normally starts. Yeah,
that's so cool.
It's so good.
It's a great time.
I would have killed for that one. I was
exactly. I don't think there's anything more valuable than that.
It's so good. Get in there. Get your chance to get reviewed. It's so valuable. Oh my god.
It's so good. And seriously, on that same subject, don't feel ashamed of your channel. The whole point is to find the ways that you can improve and grow. And if you never show it to anybody else to get that critique, you're really going to struggle with that. The opportunity is here, and it's literally free.
Yeah, I'm here to help you. So come to that tomorrow. It's a great show. It's a great time. You'll learn a lot. Even if you're too afraid to submit your own channel, I guarantee you'll learn something just by watching.
Definitely.
And asking questions. So that's tomorrow, 4 p.m. And we have a YouTube. We have Twitter. We're Streamer Square everywhere. StreamerSquare.com if you guys want to check out some guides. I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, but we have a great guide on monetization.
Yes.
That is like that Chickenators, who's a financial
wrote
planner.
That one. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
It's brilliant.
It is a complete guide to monetizing your stream. Kind of just overviews like the different ways that you can actually get into monetizing your channel. Link it right there in chat if you guys want to check it out. And that's going to do it for us this week. We will be back next week. And if you guys are going to TwitchCon, we will be there. We're doing a panel on Friday at 2 p.m., I believe.
That's the current schedule.
So definitely make sure to check out the TwitchCon website, find us, and come to our panel because it's gonna be this but live, so it's gonna be a good time.
And really, really fun.
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. So we'll see you guys next week. I will be here tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern. Thank you guys for tuning into the stream scene, and we'll see you guys soon.
Bye, friends.
Bye.